This is just an overview of how I use Diigo, so that when you read all my tutorials and all the information, you have an idea what Diigo is, which, by the way, I consider my most valuable personal learning network tool. It's not necessarily for your students unless they're older, but it's an important way to keep in touch and keep current. So here's my home page, and it says Diigo right there. I got to that because I put Diigo here on my bookmarks in Chrome, and I keep my bookmarks opened all the time. And you will notice my Scoop It bookmarklet, and there's my Diigolet. They work exactly the same. You find the Diigolet, you drag it up here. Okay, now my library is anything I've bookmarked. Now, by the way, you can bring in your old bookmarks from Delicious or any other set of bookmarks, I know from Delicious, and have them imported into Diigo. The idea of this is that no matter what computer you use, if you're logged onto Diigo, you can get your bookmarks. All right. Now, as of yesterday, in my tutorials, I talk about folders, and they have changed the name of that to outliners. And I admit to panicking, but once I looked at it even for a minute, I realized outliners are just like folders. In other words, if you have a group of sites that have to do with young children, you might put them in a folder called Early Childhood. I'll show you mine in a minute. Then this is my groups, and this is the way I really truly keep current. I sign up for groups that have to do with what I teach. So some of the groups might be college, professional development groups, or mathematics for middle school, or art and the culture. Just like in Scoop It, there are many groups that you can join, and then in the morning it tells you what people have posted to that group. Now, if you don't like that, if you don't want that stuff coming into your email, you can always join a group and then send that to the trash if it gets to be too big. I send it to my junk email, or you can unjoin a group. And then the discovery has to do with following. There's people that you follow, and that's my network, or the whole community of Diigo itself. So I'm going to show you how I use Diigo with my email. Now you see my email, and in the morning I see the groups that I belong to telling me what's new. That's how I keep current. Diigo for Us, and notice there's no space between the words, is a group I created for my students, for you, so that we can post ideas to one another. When I click on that, Diigo for Us, let's open it up. All right, I see pre-needs assessment for effective professional development. I put that in there in case any of you are teaching professional development courses. Here's a trick. If you click here, you go to the entire group. If you click here, you should get to the exact page. I do that wrong all the time, but here it is, all right? Now, I did get to write a comment, and people can write back to me. They can write more comments, etc. If I want to keep it, then I am going to use the Diigolet to show that I can highlight in that article. I can bookmark it, I can write notes, or I can write read later, or I can even write share. Now let's see what would happen if I do this. When I open this up, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit, and I'm going to say, here's something I would like to highlight. So I got to get that Diigolet opened again so I can see it. And I want to highlight the fact that before fine-tuning content for a particular session, I start out with Google Form, etc. So if that's important to me, I can highlight that. Oh, I highlighted more than I wanted to. I can unhighlight it or go back and change things. You can. You will see how. But that's not important right now. I could write a note to myself, and everybody who belongs to my group will be able to see my note if they want to. My last, whoops, what happened to my note? Let's go back. Highlight bookmark. Let's stop for a second here. It's okay if a window closes or if something isn't exactly the way you want it to be. It's okay. Then you look around again. Here's a sticky note. Now the sticky note would allow me to write specifics right inside of the website. Here it is. And you see that this is a sticky note and it's written as private. I might want to share it with a group that I belong to, and that would be the Diigo for Us group. So you'll see it when you go to that group. But anyway, I might say, in my last workshop, some said they already knew it all. I should have been prepared with other assignments for them. Whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter. It's going into the Diigo for Us group right now. So when my class logs into a web page I ask them to comment upon, they can see what I've said. And I put it in Diigo for Us, and when I open it, it tells what I've said, and then the students can respond to one another. This is the feature you said that was missing from Scoop It. Really works well with an overhead projector because the kids see their notes coming in real time and are very excited about them. Okay, I want to keep this bookmark. So I'm going to go to, not highlighter, but bookmarks now. And when I do that, I can add it to a folder, which was originally called a list until yesterday. You don't even have the opportunity to create lists. Instead, you create outliners, which is the same thing as a folder or a list. All right, here's the title. I always say who I'm going to send this to. I write something about it. And then I always put tags on it. The first year I used Diigo, I didn't put tags. What a mistake. You can't find anything. I want to share it to my group, which is Diigo for Us. And it's already probably been shared there, but that's okay. That way, people, when you join my group, you will see what I've posted there, and you can reply to me in comments or in highlights or any way you want. So I'm going to save that. All right, now, I can choose to read it later. If I see something I really want, I want to mark read later. I can share it in Twitter, Facebook, or by email. Oh, I love when I find a great site to send it to Twitter. I just put up a site about coding, and Bill Gates decided that he was going to follow me. Wow, isn't that cool? Super. I followed him too, but he decided to follow me. Because I shared it. And then right under here, you have your library, which is all your bookmarks, your lists, which is your folders, your groups. I'm going to show you how to find those groups in a moment. Your network, which are the people that you follow. Maybe you'll follow me, or maybe you'll follow Diigo for Us. I don't know. And hot bookmarks is from the entire community of Diigo people. Now let's look at this idea of. Now I go back to my home page by clicking this button that I have saved as a bookmark, and it comes up to my library, but you will see that besides my library, it also gives me my outliners. Remember, they're folders or my groups, and when I go to my groups, that's where I get my professional development network. Now, if I was teaching Spanish, I might put Spanish in here and search for a group exactly about what I teach. Okay, now these come up. Here's Spanish 4, but when I look at it, I can tell how good a place it is or how established a place it is by looking here. There are 135 visits to this and 471 items. That's not bad. This one, Spanish 4, only has 68. Depends on what I'm looking for, what I subscribe to. 125. Spanish bar Singapore, clicking bank, Mexican Spanish food. My goodness. Resources for languages. This one has 13,000 visits. So it's going to have really great stuff for me if I were teaching Spanish. So I go to this site, just like that. I scroll through it. Gosh, look at all that stuff on. Spanish listening. Learn real Spanish. That sounds like a good one. Only has 5 views though. So you get a chance to discriminate. But if I think this is something I want, I could apply to join this group. And I could say, please add me to this group. All right, so that if I do that every day, if I choose to, I want my things to come in daily. You could choose anytime anybody posts immediately, or weekly, or not subscribe. You could just be part of the group and not actively participate. But I want it to come in daily, so I'm going to click Finish. And they will get back to me and allow me to be part of this group, and then my email each morning will show the new things that have been sent to me. Now, I'm thinking about my daughter who wants to teach Spanish next year. Okay, I'm going to try this one. It only has 5 views, but maybe it's just brand new. Let's see what it's like. Oh my, I made that mistake. I didn't click on the bottom link. I clicked on the top one. There it is. Learn Spanish for free in 4 simple steps. Well, that might be fun. Oh, look, advanced, intermediate. Wow. Okay, so I want to put that in a folder. So when I go to the Diigo, it opens up all the things, or some of the things that I can do, and I just told you I want to put it in a folder. I want to bookmark it, but more than that, I want to add it to an outliner, which is a folder. I want to say, Erin, what do you think of this? I'm going to keep this folder for her, and I'm going to say the tags are Spanish listening, Spanish teachers. And I'm going to share it to a group, or I'm going to create an outliner. So I want to make a new folder. Here are all my lists or outliners. And when I get down to the bottom, it says create a new outliner. You can't see it. My screen's not big enough, but it's at the very bottom. And I'm going to say Spanish resources. And I'm going to fix a spelling mistake. And I can also share it to a group. So I'll put it in our Diigo for us, and you'll know why I did that, just because. And I'm going to save it. Now you're going to say, how am I ever going to find it? And I can do that easily by clicking my main Diigo button or going back to my home page, and there it is. But even more, I could search for it by one of the tags, but I can also find it right here in my lists. So when I'm on my home page, I can see what I have just bookmarked, but I can also see my folders. And here's Spanish resources, and I've only got one thing in it for the moment, but that's the way it goes. So this is just to give you an idea of what you're going to do. It is going to take a learning curve. You're going to get lost. You're going to move forward and backwards, etc. But you will be able to do it. And when you do it, you're going to find a group of people who tells you the most important new resources in technology to help your class or even in your subject matter. And I guarantee you it will keep you current.